Your Excellency, Blinchen, Dr. Lotus Sering, honorable members of the Parliament, Tashos, senior government officials, development partners, and fellow civil society colleagues, Kuzambo, and good afternoon. On behalf of the co-organizers, the Civil Society Authority Secretariat, BCMD, and the co-coordinating committee of CSOs, I would like to extend our heartiest welcome to Civil Society Government Meet 2021. The CSO Government Meet is organized to provide a platform for civil society actors, lawmakers, and the government to establish a better understanding of the civil society work, its challenges, opportunities, and more importantly, to forge relationships based on trust. I hope that today's meet will deepen the understanding about civil society work and generate constructive and useful discussions that will help inform the deliberation of the Parliament on the Civil Society Bill.
The 2021 Government Civil Society Meet is themed Enabling Positive Change in light of the upcoming winter session of the National Parliament that will deliberate on the CSO Bill. The meet is also timely since the 12-year plan comes to an end and the groundwork for the 13th five-year plan is to commence.
Our way forward towards, I think, the growth and development of CSO sector, the third sector in Bhutan, Shunila.
The Member Secretary of the CSO Authority provided a brief update on the status of CSOs since the previous meet, which was held in 2019. The number of functional CSOs have increased to 54, an increase of 7 from 2019. Despite the pandemic, 2020 also saw the highest number of CSO registration with 6 new CSOs. CSOA also touched on one of the main challenges raised during the 2019 meet, restricted legal framework. To address this, the tabling of the CSO Amendment Bill 2021 in the upcoming parliamentary session and the development of the CSO Government Collaboration Guidelines were presented. The 2021 meet also featured key findings and highlights from the perception study commissioned by Helvetas, where the researcher presented additional details on the study design and methodology. The findings were grouped into 4 categories pertaining to CSOs: structure, environment, values, and impact, and highlighted the increase in collaboration both within CSOs and with the government.
A lot of the respondents, a large number of the respondents have similar views that CSOs have played an important role in supporting livelihood. It has been very effective in creating awareness in their area of focus, that they have been very successful in educating citizens on public issues, and it has also played a very big role in empowering marginalized groups and empowering women.
While funding continues to be a challenge, the work of CSOs is increasingly valued at the grassroots level as well as policy level. The recommendations included technical support from the government and integration into the government's APA, outsourcing of activities, need for the government to play a facilitative and sustained role in creating an enabling environment for CSOs.
More tangible outputs as well.
I'd like to make a brief presentation on creating an enabling space for civil society in Bhutan. Broadly speaking, we have the state, which in Bhutan is represented by His Majesty the King. Within the broad entity of state, we have 3 sectors, generally known as the government, which is political, market, which is profit-oriented, and civil society, which is non-profit and apolitical. If these 3 sectors cannot come together, we cannot achieve the common objective of nation building.
I would like to open the floor and invite any comments or queries on the presentation perception study.
In the CSO dialogue, there are a lot of assumptions. And similarly, people assume a lot, but legend communicate, legend dialogue, reach out,
On one hand, we said that we contribute to addressing unemployment and trying to build capacity of the youth and young people, giving them some experience and immersing themselves in civil society, I think, which is also a service we provide. So I don't think to address that problem, the recommendation to make ourselves an extension service would work, and nor is it reasonable for the government to really consider that.
So in order to sort of standardize the process on how the government interacts with the CSOs, if it is already built into their APA targets, then they have indicators to show whether they have fulfilled those or not.
So case by case basis la medi chile cheba chin di kha chi dan stani to le jeje zume thom bala tetanus tam dalu de ani gi di te tarunga chi ngoshi khayumi anzum le jun chance do bala dewadi tansa was chi be gachilu thopna gachilu me thop gachi zo na as shuni gi anchi koka tlengela.
One of the areas where we could not decide or where we could not really legislatively make decision was on the tax. And this is such a right time that we are discussing, and this conversation will definitely get into the legislative process that we are taking care of.
We had a very progressive the reform in taxation. If you really look into it, I think when you are actually in a society trying to help the individuals or the group, I think probably you can also act as someone who actually conveys the right message to your own community and to your own organization.
The entry point request fee, they submit the request. The first origination, it has to reach the GRC decision. So GRC will be the recommendation
CSO की certificate renewal की दिला yearly in lata to so ane bodalu ati tab ma diha be jumla nga chani practically la be bodalu la tan bodalu 3 years ki work plan choti ti yubbe tele anna renewal ya lu sumna yubbe ta hani na thap che ba chin tab deni me se mapadi rules and regulation that they ke do se shunila.
And in Bhutan, simultaneously we are graduating from LDC categories, and so we are going to receive less ODAs, or the overseas aid for development. So I was just wondering if we can maybe imagine, or how might we work together, government and CSOs, to actually avail these international sources of funding. And the challenge now is that maybe there are a lot of different causes, as we saw from the CSOs, but yet the funding really is in environment. So how can we maybe creatively fund these sources through where the money is, and to funnel that to help our country develop in so many different areas?
There are some CSOs who are really good at some of the programs, which perhaps if the government could actually outsource to. It doesn't have to be a replication but rather to support and fund that program. When something is already been done and is being very well executed by an organization, I urge the government to support that rather than reinvent the wheel.
Without a civic space, I think we cannot have a vibrant democracy. I know much of thought and deliberation has gone in terms of developing this guideline. A lot of experiences has come into charting this guideline. So we hope that this guideline will provide that framework, will enable us to work together. As
the chair of the concerned committee says that the act is with us. Totogi legal provisions ki tab madiu kachit dugadi the committee na tsube committee ki yalu teta chokanalu shudabachin ngachongle japchu matotipshin kanemi se shunivila. Kara, we should not be talking at each other, we should be talking to each other for the ultimate target. Tegi loje sunde, I fully agree. Ani administrative issues dari issues se mathoba ja nabati thop zoda bachin dari thobe zoda nabate. Tibeuda cross check ja bebe, cross check chi bebe, 마토미디 가디베 톱 존나 아니 캐주 리링잉지기 차도 피니디 나기 버치 아니 efficiency of the system 디일라 나부기 나미기 테디기라 중중미라 유카기 추치루 디기 게오메 유카기 미치루 디기 게오메 유카기 람치루 디기 세오메 데보달루 다네 차라레지미 지고라 It's absolutely correct that as we graduate economically from LDC group, we will not be eligible for certain grants, but yet CSOs will still be eligible to bring in new financing sources. Machinagi external funding ki guidelines this to the meanings in between the lines. Hansu kara jebe beda bachin tena chegi akap chuku chip di lejimbe humchu konko be tanzibe suni kokop chidu seshunibin.